Hello and welcome back to Becoming Stacy. Today, I get so many questions about my workout routine and how I am able to stay fit and what is it that I do? Am I counting calories? What are my workouts? Do I have a specific routine? All the things. About 5 years ago, asking the same question, seeing all these people that I was looking up to. I'm like, how are they doing this? And seeing women in their 30s and 40s just killing it. I even follow this woman who I think her Instagram is fit in her 50s and she looks fantastic. She looks better than I do. So I got curious and I wanted to know the things that worked for other people because I have tried, probably like so many of you, I have tried the fad diets. I have tried the magic pills. I have tried the programs. And the thing about it is that I learned through my own journey, right, is that it really is a whole mindset thing. It's a game of the mind. And if you can get to the core of the reason why you want to lose an extra 40 pounds, or why you want to be fit and in your 50s, or why it is important for you to switch up your diet, you have to understand why you want to get started because that's going to help you stay on the path the entire time. Is coming back to that every time. Like, why did I push play on this workout? Why did I show up at the gym today? Why did I buy the groceries that I bought? The reason is because of whatever you make it, whatever you decided is the reason why you want to continue to show up for yourself is it. And so when you can understand that it's all a mindset. It's one, your reason why. Two, it's what do you want more? Because I will let you know first and foremost, before I even dig into this, you have to understand that this is hard. This is work. This is commitment. And the only way to get results is to have consistency in what you are doing. And I know there are a ton of different ways in which people are able to get the results, different programs, different diets. That's great. I can share with you what works for me, and you can take that and tailor it to you because what I'm doing isn't going to work 100% for you because you're not me. So I've trialed and errored to a point where I finally have found what works for me. I will tell you that for the majority, these things that I'm going to share with you, if you do them consistently, are going to work for you. The first thing is that I want to lay it out there. I told you mindset. I want to give you this 80-20 rule where 80% of your results are going to come from your diet, not your workouts. Because you hear a lot of times like, oh, I've just been working out so hard. I've been running, I've been doing cardio and, all the things, but I'm still not losing any weight or I'm still not seeing any muscle gain or whatever your goals are. It's because the 80% is in the kitchen. It's what you are putting in your mouth. It is the things that the little snacks and the calories that add up that you don't even think about that you are consuming that is killing your workouts. So you'd be better off, honestly, just like cutting calories and not working out at all. And you would probably have better results than working your ass off and consuming what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis and not getting any results. So that's one of the first misconceptions is that I got to work my ass off. I got to go to the gym every single day. I got to put in like 2 hours of work and, that's that. No, it's really paying attention to what you put in your mouth. So for me, the thing that works is if you are not familiar with the caloric content, the carbohydrate content, the protein content, the fat content of your food, and that's what macros are. When people talk about counting macros, they're talking about fat, carbs, and protein. So say, you're 180 pounds and you want to be down to 140, you want to be eating 140 grams of protein a day, ideally. And that is hard to do. Sounds easy. It's not. And then you want to break up the carbs and the fat almost 50-50. Some people eat more fat than carbs and vice versa. And so you can kind of finagle it. The goal is to really pay attention to those three things, but also the calories. And you don't want to be consuming a ton of extra sugar. Natural sugar, things that you find in fruit, are okay in moderation, but you don't want to be consuming a ton of processed sugar or sugar from your drinks, which a lot of people take for granted, and they don't realize that things like juice and pop and a lot of the sports drinks and energy drinks, those all contain a lot of sugar. And when you consume those things and you're not counting them because they don't contain fat, carbs, or protein, it's like you feel like they're free. No, those are just empty calories, and they count because those are still calories at the end of the day, and you're getting way too much sugar. And sugar, when it gets stored in an excess, it turns to fat. So just really being mindful of not drinking your calories. You probably know somebody that quit drinking pop and lost a ton of weight alone just from doing that. That's because of all the sugar. So I don't believe in dieting because it is a lifestyle. It is not something, when I think of diet, I think of temporary. And when I think of health and wellness, I think of forever, right? It's a lifestyle change. And so we think that, we're going to go keto and we're going to do this diet for a while, but that's not sustainable. That is not going to last. That's not realistic. And so you have to make it realistic for you. So this is where, when I say what works for me might not work for you entirely, because our lifestyles are different and we have to do what works for our lifestyle. But if you can break it down to those macros, paying attention to your carbs, your fat, your protein intake, and then your calories, you can really work within those parameters. So again, your ideal weight in grams of protein a day, and then take your carbs and your fats and break them up. If you want to eat a little bit more fat in your diet, like if you like things like peanut butter, nuts, fatty fish, good things, good fats like cottage cheese, things like that, you might want to lean more into having more fat over carbs. If you really enjoy pasta, bread, if you want more of those things in your day to day, then definitely give yourself a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to how many grams of carbs that you're going to take. And if you are not familiar, so this is what I was saying, is if you're not familiar with the content of your food and how you break it down, you really need to be tracking every single thing that you eat. So they have a ton of apps. You can do paper and pencil, however you need to do that, but just familiarize yourself with your food. Look at food labels, get to know. I can tell you now, because I've been doing this for so long for myself, pretty much what the calorie content of a thing is, how much fat, about how much protein, about how many carbs, just because I've been paying attention for so long that I've damn near got the things that I eat on a consistent basis memorized. And even if I go out to dinner at a new restaurant and I get a burger, or I get a piece of pizza, or I get a chicken sandwich, I can guess about, because it's going to be similar to what I know a chicken sandwich to contain, about how many calories, how many grams of fat, protein, et cetera, et cetera. So get to know your food. And we all have those go-to things that we eat all the time that you can get really familiar with. The other thing is that if you are paying attention to your macros, not to go over, right? Stay within the means and get to know what that looks like. And you don't have to break it down into 3 meals a day. And actually, it's better for your metabolism, especially as you get older, to break your meals down into smaller portions more frequently throughout the day. So rather than having a 600 to 800 calorie meal 3 times a day, you're going to want to break that up into like 200 to 300 calorie meals more times throughout the day. That just helps your blood sugar stay more regulated. It helps your metabolism. It really helps to sustain your energy so that you don't hit that 2 o'clock feeling, because it's like, I had 2 heavy meals earlier in the day and now I'm just like slumped. And then come dinner time, you're just starving, which when you're hungry, you tend to overeat. So that's another reason why you want to break your meals down into smaller meals more frequently, because you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, which is great because then you're never really feeling super hungry. And here's the thing too, is paying attention to how your body feels. I listen to my body, and it's taken me a long time to adjust and learn this because, again, where we live, we're not really trained to pay attention to our hunger cues. A lot of times we mistake hunger for thirst. We're actually thirsty because I know, raise your hand, we don't drink enough water throughout the day. If we were to drink what it is required of us, which is our body weight in ounces of water a day. Okay. So if you're 160 pounds, you need to be drinking 160 ounces of water a day. I know that seems crazy, but not only does water help you feel full and satisfied so that you eat less, it's so good for your skin. It's great for your gut health and keeps your digestion regular. It helps to detox your body. It is just overall one of the best things that you can do for your health and wellness, not just for your weight, but for your skin, longevity, your cell repair, so many things in staying hydrated that can help you. So if nothing else, please increase your water intake because it's going to be huge for you. You're going to notice so many changes just by being hydrated. Most of us are running on dehydration mode all the time. We are never, ever really getting enough water. And I'm not talking about water in your coffee. I'm not talking about sparkling water. I'm talking about plain old water. And if you have to enhance your water with flavors, fresh lemon, citrus, lime, oranges, grapefruits, spice up your water. But again, try to stay away from those powder mixers that contain sugar and whoever knows what else, colors, dyes, whatever. Try to replace it with natural things like citrus fruit works great. I love good lemon water. I would love if you could count your water intake from coffee because I would definitely be there. But we have to be realistic with ourselves and we have to understand that water is really important and we just have to do it. Again, this is work, this is hard. And do you want the results more than you want to just take the easy street? Because that is the problem I think most of us run into is we're looking for a quick fix. We're looking for easy. Well, nothing in this life that is worth anything comes easy, first of all. And that's so true when it comes to your health and fitness. If you want results, if you are aspiring to look and feel a certain way, it's going to take work and it's going to take change. And we all know with that comes some discomfort. And we have to get over that. And we have to force ourselves through knowing and remembering, one, why we got started, and two, what are our expectations for these results? Where do we want to go? And please, when you're setting your goals, make them realistic. Don't beat yourself up. Don't set unrealistic goals for yourself and saying that you're going to lose 40 pounds in a month. That is not going to be sustainable. And that's why I hate diets, is because they're not sustainable. You go on this fix for a little while, you do the workout program, and then what happens either halfway in between or when the program's done, you go right back into your old ways. You gain it all back. It's not ideal. And it is just programmed in us because we grew up with the mindset of like, I got to go on a diet because I have this wedding, or I got to go on a diet because, XYZ reason. No, we just have to make better choices, and we have to know what we're putting into our bodies. We have to know how many calories we're consuming. We have to make sure that we are getting enough water so that we can let our bodies do what it needs to do and not always tell us we're hungry because we're actually thirsty. So we overconsume. Getting to know you, getting to know your food is going to be like the biggest thing. Okay. Before you even think about working out, please pay attention to what you put in your mouth, including your water, and thinking about getting to know and familiarize yourself with what those things are. Okay. Number one. Number two would then be to start moving your body. And you can start wherever you're comfortable, because moving your body versus being sedentary is going to be the win no matter which way you look at it. So if that means starting out with a walk in the evening 3 nights a week, amazing. If that's more than what you're doing right now, take it, do it. Great. Don't feel like you have to go from being sedentary and nothing to all of a sudden going to the gym and CrossFit and lifting crazy heavy weights. It takes time to work up to that. You have to build your muscle. You have to also build things like grip strength. So Maybe you can squat 50 pounds, but are your arms and hands strong enough to hold that weight for you to be able to do those squats? Probably not if you're just getting started. You want to work your joints and your tendons and your muscles up to that point. You are not going to want to just start heavy because your body hasn't been able to work up to that level yet. And you don't want to break or injure yourself. That is not the goal. So if it hurts, if you don't have good form when you're doing it, please stop. Lessen your weights, no weights at all. Body weight is better than nothing. So depending on where you're starting out, less is more here, okay? And then once you build that up, once you're starting to build strength, and you will feel it in yourself, you'll have more endurance, which means you'll be able to go longer. So if you're walking or running, you'll be like, actually, I can push myself and I can go a little bit further today. Same thing with cardio. If you're doing cardio and you like pitter out at 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm good for 12 minutes. I went 15 minutes this time, and you work your way up. That's how you maintain and sustain, is growth over time, gradually, little increments. It's going to take you a while to go from lifting those 3-pound weights to curling 10 pounds. Okay. Don't feel like you got to go and you got to compete with whoever is next to you. You compete with yourself. And it has taken me over 5 years to get to lifting, 5, 8 pounds. And now when I'm talking about curls, like I can do 20 pounds for a little while, drop set to 15. It's taken time. I didn't just go to the gym and start curling 20 pounds. Girl, please. So don't beat yourself up because you have to start with something small. Starting is perfect wherever it is that you need to start. Okay. Do something. Do what works for you. Everybody asks me, like, well, what is your workout routine? And honestly, I love lifting. I like to lift heavy because the thing is I hate cardio. And I do cardio, either I will do like the high intensity interval training, which is called HIIT. I might do that in between my sets. So that just looks like, let me break this down for you, for those of you that are new at this. I will do like a superset, which is 2 workouts back to back, typically working similar muscle groups. So I will do my one workout and I will do like 10 reps, and then I'll do my other one for 10 reps. And then I will do a HIIT move. So I'll do like high knees for 30 to 60 seconds, or I'll do plank jacks, or I'll do jumping jacks, or I'll do mountain climbers or burpees or something to get my heart rate up for 30 to 60 seconds. And then I'll go back and I'll do my set again. And so that way I'm still getting cardio, I'm still getting my heart rate up, but I'm not running. I'm not having to consistently be doing cardio. The other way that I like to incorporate cardio is by having like one cardio day a week. So I work out 5 days a week on average, sometimes 6. And so one of those days will be a 25 to 30-minute cardio. It is not like a 45 to an hour session like when I'm lifting, because it is more intense, because your heart rate is up a lot higher when you're doing that cardio. And so you don't need to do it for an hour. And studies have shown actually that the more cardio that you do, actually the less lean muscle that you're building. And so if your goal is to have definition and your goal is to build your peaches or show your abs, you're not going to be wanting to do a ton of cardio because it's going to be burning calories, but you're just going to be super thin. So you might not have a lot of body fat, but you're going to not look defined either. So you're not going to get muscle. You're just going to be really lean. So, I mean, if that's the look you're going for, by all means, cardio it up. But research also shows that the most healthy, the most capable of fighting off illness and diseases, and the ones that have longevity are the ones that have muscle mass. Muscle mass is actually like the #1 thing that rids people of cancer, disease, gives them the highest chance of surviving because they have the muscle mass. If you think of anybody that you know that has come down with a serious illness, the first thing that happens is they lose their muscle mass. And so if you think about a person that has very little muscle mass, if they were to get ill or come down with something that they had to fight off for a long period of time, and the first thing that goes is the muscle mass, Well, now you're in the negative 2 weeks in because you have nothing to start with. So building lean muscle for me is the best thing that you can do for yourself, not just because most people look better with muscle mass, their physique just, you're more toned, you have more definition, you just fill out a lot better, but it also helps you to have that longevity and be healthier overall. And so don't feel like you have to be on the treadmill 5 days a week for a half an hour, hour at a time. That is not what's going to be best for your body. So lifting weights, doing a little bit of cardio, either 30 to 60 seconds in between sets is beautiful, or incorporating a 25 to 35 minute cardio routine once a week is going to be sufficient, because lifting heavy, and for you, that might mean 8-pound dumbbells when you're doing your squats. Amazing. If that's heavier than body weight and that's more than what you're used to, perfect, perfect. But that is going to increase your heart rate just as much, if not more, on certain days than cardio would anyways. And the whole goal of cardio is to get your heart rate up. So why not build muscle and get your heart rate up and get a 2-for-1? Leg days, especially upper body day, your heart rate doesn't tend to get up so high, but leg day, because your legs are big, big muscles and they have to work to pump blood from your legs all the way up to your heart and your brain, it takes more energy to do that. So the heavier you lift, when you are working big muscle groups like your legs, the harder your body is working, the more calories you're burning. And that just means that you're not necessarily doing cardio, but you're doing the same thing that cardio would be doing, but you're building muscle on top of it. If you're lifting heavy, you're working big muscle groups, you are getting the calorie deficit that you need, and then some, because you're burning it so much differently, but you're also creating that muscle mass. And you don't have, like, when I talk muscle mass for women, a lot of times they shy away from lifting heavy because they don't want to look super masculine. You don't have to. You do not have to do that. I'm telling you, like 35 to 55 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week, lifting at your capacity, you will be able to burn that fat, build that lean muscle, and not be super chiseled and looking really masculine. I promise. So there is a right way for you to do that. And that is just figuring out what you enjoy, but also knowing that you're never gonna always enjoy what you're doing. There are days where I really don't want to work out and I have to talk myself into it and remember why I got started. That is why this fitness journey is a lot more mental than it is physical, because your mind will shut down and tell you that you need to quit way before your body does. So if you can just get through that hard, remember why you got started, and when you're in the workout, remembering why you started that workout in the first place is because you want results. And what are those results? And how important are those? And how are you prioritizing those? Because that's going to be the thing that's going to sustain you through the workout. So yeah, we talked about getting to know your food, paying attention to those macros, but also the caloric content, and making sure that you are paying attention. Track it. If you're not familiar and you don't have those things memorized, you need to know what those are so that you can stay on track, because it's really easy to get over. And if you're working out and burning 500 calories a day and you're consuming 2,500, but in order for you to build lean muscle and lose fat, you need 1,700. Well, it's not going to work then, because now you're at 2,000 calories that you've consumed, right? You've consumed 2,500, you worked out for 5, you're at 2,000 calories a day. But in order for you to actually start to see gains and progress, you need to be consuming about 1,700. So you're still over. So even though you worked out, you busted your ass, because working out in like one workout, burning 500 calories, that's a hard workout, let me tell you. You're still over. You have still consumed more than you have depleted. And so what happens is that excess of those nutrients, regardless if it's protein, carbs, or fat, will turn into stored fat and glycogen and sugar and things that our organs don't necessarily love, things that turn into things that we don't love. And so you have to know what you are doing, how much you are consuming. That's what it boils down to. It sounds more complicated, and I think society has made it more complicated than it really is that you need to have that deficit, find a way to create that deficit that will get you there, that'll motivate you, that you'll start to see those results so that you keep going and paying attention to what you are eating, what you are drinking, because your drinks, I'm telling you, alcohol, those sugary drinks, it doesn't matter. They add up. Okay. So write everything down, every little sip of everything that you take, track it. And I know it's monotonous. I know it's a lot of work. Use the apps, pen and paper, a note app on your phone, whatever you need to do until you get familiar with it. Okay. And I don't even want to talk about supplements right now because I know that this in general is a lot for a lot of people that are just getting started or maybe are familiar enough, but it still feels very overwhelming. And I encourage you to reach out to me directly at Stacy Failing on Instagram because I get people that reach out all the time. And the first thing that they say to me is they apologize for reaching out, but they really want help in their health and wellness journey. And that's what I'm here for. The reason I created this podcast is so I could be here with you on this whole thing, because I'm telling you, I'm still on this journey every day. There are still days where I'm like, ugh, I really want an extra piece of pizza. But I'm like, no, I know in my head that's at least 350 calories because I know, right? And at least 40 grams of carbs. And that's just going to set me off enough to where that workout that I worked so freaking hard for today is now null and void by one piece of pizza, right? Like I remember how I felt going into that workout, in the midst of that workout, and how proud and accomplished I felt after the workout that this piece of pizza ain't worth it. And I will still eat pizza though. That's the thing. I will still eat pizza. I just know that I'm going to eat one decent sized piece of pizza and I'm going to fill the rest of my plate with a green salad because I love salad. Some of you don't love salad. I get that. But also, that's where balance lies. That's what it looks like. Is you can still have your pizza. You can still have your birthday cake. What are you having with it? What did you have all day? And did you work out to a point where you can afford that piece of cake? Let's start looking at calories as currency. Can you afford to eat that piece of cake? Is it worth it? Remember why you got started. Remember your results. Do you want that piece of cake more than you want whatever said goal is? Okay. Say that you have this pair of jeans that's your favorite pair of jeans and you can't fit into them anymore. What do you want more? Do you want to fit into the pair of jeans or do you want that piece of cake? And what's going to last longer? What's going to give you the biggest sense of accomplishment? What's going to make you feel good at the end of the day? So stopping, pausing. I talk about this a lot is pausing, not just with this, but with decisions and your emotions and your reactions before you make that decision on what you're going to say, what you're going to do, what you're going to put in your mouth. Hit pause, think for a second and say, what do I want more? And if your answer is the piece of cake, well, then don't beat yourself up for eating the piece of cake because that was your choice. You stopped, you paused, you made a choice. Now you get to deal with that choice and the consequences of that choice. So maybe that means that on your day off, which is usually Saturday, you now have to work out on Saturday. That's the trade-off, right? You do not literally get to have your cake and eat it too. If you want your cake, there's going to be a trade-off or there's going to be a consequence, right? The consequence is now you've gone over your calorie allotment for the day and that's going to turn into fat. So that means you either live with that or you make up for it on your off day because you know you were able to enjoy that piece of cake. No regrets. Love it, right? No regrets. But I need to work harder tomorrow. That's all that means. Because working out and quote unquote dieting or just changing your eating habits altogether is something that you have to learn where you can kind of shift things around. Because there are times when holidays are horrible. I am not going to pass on all that stuff. Green bean casserole, yes, please. Homemade rolls, of course. Grandma's homemade pie. Yep, I want one of each piece, please. One of each kind, right? That just means we got to figure out how we're going to maintain otherwise. It is not an overnight thing. Thanksgiving dinner and dessert isn't going to turn into a lost cause, right? It's not going to completely reverse your hard work from the last 6 months. One good meal like that is not going to undo everything that you just did. What we can't do is continue to do that. We cannot continue to eat the pie every single day until it's gone and expect us to not see a little regression, right? We have to be realistic in knowing that we cannot do that. It's just not metabolically going to work like that. I would love to do that. Like, hell yeah, if I could eat a whole pie and then not gain a pound, right? I am not that person. I don't think I've ever been that person. And creeping on 40, I for sure am not that person. So I know that I get to enjoy those things as they happen. It was a treat. I definitely say yes, please. I would love to have the whole pie, but I remember why I worked so hard and how I got to where I am now. And I don't want to lose that because my craving for eating an entire pie is not as much of a craving as the results that I'm working so hard for every single day for the last 6 months. And so, no, thank you. Mindset, discipline, mental game. You have to get there. And that's one of the things I'm honest with you about in this conversation is I have taken so much time for myself to figure these things out, to know what works for me, to have those moments of regret, to eat the extra piece of pizza. I know how it's made me feel. I know what it has changed in my body. I know that if I do that, I will either have to work my ass off or I will have the consequence. And I've done this for long enough to know that those usually aren't the choices that I want. And so I mentally remind myself, I pause and I tell myself that, and it's easy then. It becomes easy. My choice is the same every single time. I want what I'm working towards. I want the results that I'm starting to see in the mirror because I am working so hard. I want to take my Saturday off. I look forward to Saturdays being my day off. It is not worth it for me to eat this extra piece of pizza or this piece of cake right now because I want to enjoy my Saturday off. Learning what works for you, paying attention, pausing before you make a decision, and really, really being super clear on what it is that you want and why you got started. There is no magic answer for you other than what we just talked about on this podcast. I cannot recommend to you a specific regimen, a specific quote unquote diet. If you listen to what I have shared with you today and you tailor it to your lifestyle, it will work. You have to want it bad enough. And that's what it comes down to. I could give you the secret, but if you don't have the mental capacity and willpower and discipline and motivation, no matter what it is that you do, and this isn't just about diet, y'all, it's not going to work. You will not get the results if you don't have why you got started, why you keep going, and the discipline, the motivation to keep going. Hard truth. But I live for that shit. I've lived myself through that shit. I continue to push myself every single day. I can't tell you how many times a day I tell myself that I have these little pep talks in my head all the time still. And I have this figured out for myself. I'm making progress. I'm seeing gains. I love what I'm doing. But every single day I look at myself in the mirror and have those conversations that you're having with yourself right now. The difference is to get me over that hump of not wanting to get started with my workout, to not want to eat that extra piece of pizza is the work and the discipline that I put into my mind over the last 5 years more than the work and the discipline that I put in physically. So keep showing up every single day for yourself. Learn what you're eating, learn what you're drinking. Start moving your body more than you move your body now, consistently. Like I said, don't go hard unrealistically. That is not going to sustain. Start small, grow, figure out what it is that you like to do. Talk to other people that are doing the thing that you want to be doing, right? Like I said, reach out to me, please. Ask me questions. I will gladly offer you suggestions and help. And I still have a long way to go. So please don't take this as I got it all figured out and I'm like this sexy bitch. No, I was overweight for a good majority of my life. And like I said, in the last 5 years, I've really been able to have the hard conversation with myself and realizing what it really takes and how far I want to push myself. And when I do that, I see the results, and the results motivate me to keep going. I'm starting to see those results that I have wanted to see for so many years that I've really only been working really hard on for the last 3 to 5 years. So give yourself grace in that. And know and trust that it is a process. And if you can fall in love with that, you don't have to worry about the results. All right, that's my rant. We will talk about supplements another time. Or if you DM me and want to know more about supplements, I'm happy to share. I'm not a huge pusher when it comes to an abundance of supplements, but I do believe that there are a handful of supplements that really can help to enhance your workouts and to give you, especially if you're trying to build lean muscle as a woman, it can be really hard. And again, my goal is to not be masculine or look like a bodybuilder. So it's just helping to build the lean muscle and lose the body fat with the supplements to help as a little bit more of an enhancement. And also, one of the ways to get my protein goals every single day, because without the protein supplements, I would not be meeting my protein goals every single day. So that is another reason why I do take supplements. So if you have questions about those, please reach out to me. Happy to help you in any way. Happy to just share this journey with you, because I know it's hard, and I know like society does not make it easy, and America does not make it easy. I'm here with you. I feel you, and I really look forward to connecting with you on this. This is one of my passions. Like I said, it's taken me a while, but I think I got to figure it out. I am no expert, but I am an expert with myself. So I'm here in any way, shape, or form to help you become an expert for yourself. That's all we can do. I will talk to you again next time. Thanks again for being here.